Well, it was a good night to be a 10 seed. Like the Heat, the Mavs winning in a blowout, defeating the Kings 120-106 to advance to Friday night to play the Grizzlies for the 8th seed in the Western Conference. And guys, a vintage night from one Klay Thompson. And you know what? It was almost a year to the day that Klay went to Sacramento with the Warriors in a play-in, went 0 for 10 from the field, 0 for 6 from three-point land, scored 0 points. And look what he did tonight back there in Sacramento. 23 points on 8 of 11 shooting. He had 16 points in that second quarter, which was the quarter that was the difference in this ball game. The Mavs outscoring the Kings 44-19 in that quarter. They took control of the game and never looked back. Smitty, what is it about Klay where he could just come out and have these vintage nights?
He's a gamer, and obviously his shooting ability, you can't give him any airspace. And you can tell he had this one locked in because of what happened last year when he played against the Sacramento Kings, and you said it best. The difference was that second quarter. Let's just watch Klay Thompson. I ain't never seen him, Earl, take this many dribbles in my life. But Klay doing a nice job of doing what he does best, moving without the basketball. You let him get square. He does an excellent job of getting square, getting his feet set. And at 6'7", if you're late, you're not going to get a hand up on the shot. He's going to knock it down. On this one, as you're watching right now, we don't remember Klay, a lot of people, as a defensive guy. He'll give you that in spurts, gets to steal, comes down, pushes the basketball. That's 3 dribbles, 4. I don't know if I've ever seen this before. Klay Thompson being able to handle the basketball and drive it with his left hand. He was locked in, backdoor, and then finishing at the rim. You said it, Andy. I mean, that 44-19 second quarter was totally the difference, and he had 16 points, which gave them that separation for the rest of the game.
Yeah, and his plus-minus he had a game-high plus-minus of plus 31. And, Earl, that was actually also a season high. So, it was clear that Klay came out just a man on a mission.
Yeah, he came out focused. And Klay remembers that day, too. I believe that,
Yeah.
He's such a competitor. And when he brings to the table both ends of the court, he brings leadership, championship, insight. And he has a mission and an energy that's infectious about him that's also selfless. So him coming out and being efficient and raise the level of his other teammates. And I think it helped AD settle in as well, have a big night.
Yeah, and this is exactly what the Mavs kind of envisioned when they made the trade. It was the bigs just dominating. Anthony Davis, P.J. Washington, Daniel Gafford, and Derek Lively. I mean, they just brought such a defensive intensity to this ball game. When they play like that, Smitty, they're pretty tough to beat.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I give Najee Marshall a lot of credit, what he did on guarding Zach LaVine and other guards. They made it tough. And then you have this length and size. Every time you look up, you have 2 7-footers out on the floor. It just made things hard for guys like DeRozan and Zach LaVine, especially guys who want to shoot the mid-range, get to the bucket. But I love the intensity. I like Dante Exum. I mean, no Kyrie Irving. You could just imagine implementing him with this team. This is a team that could have a deep run in the playoffs.
Yeah, and AD, a little bit of a slow start in this one, Earl, but when every time the Kings kind of wanted to make a push in this game, he would come through, make a big bucket or make a big play.
He did a great job. We know AD can do so many things on the court. What we love to see him do is establish his will at the paint, at the rim, making plays for others, getting to the basket, scoring at the basket. And also we know he can pass that point, forward, 5, whatever he wants to be, scoring a perimeter. And he brings that type of hard mismatch. How do you defend him? If he pops, do you switch it? If you switch it with a small, you'll post shoot. If you hedge, he can get off, pick and pop, drive you. If you drop, he can shoot the 3. And it's an intangible that's really hard to guard.
Yeah, and then the other side of things, guys, the Kings they find themselves in this position again where, kind of a disappointing end to their season. They made the trade, added Zach LaVine, but Smitty, it seemed to it didn't gel enough for them to make any kind of run here and get in the playoffs.
It was just a difficult team that watching they put together, a lot of good pieces, a lot of guys that individually are very good, and they weren't a selfish ball club. I just don't think all the pieces fit with one another. I still think they got to play bigger with Sabonis maybe at the 4 or just have another guy with some size. They need a point guard. I think for them is obviously losing Fox. Couldn't replace him with another lead guard. Monk tried his best. They have too many same-size guys. I mean, with Murray, Monk, LaVine, Rosen, all those guys kind of play the same and need the same space.
Yeah, and Monk, they definitely missed him in this game. They just lacked that punch especially from three-point land. DeRozan, he scored 33, Earl. Took 28 shots, though. It just seems like they just couldn't get enough offensively going this one to match the Mavs' intensity.
You have to credit that to the Mavs. You talk about their defense. They have 8 block shots, 9 steals, right? And that's hard to go against when you're an offensive player. And DeMar, we know, is a 2-point specialist, mid-range specialist. He plays with a certain pace, a certain rhythm, and a certain flow. But like, Smitty said, when you build it's simple. When you build a team, you build it, in my analogy, the way you would build a pickup game to 7. Mm-hmm. Do I want guys to complement each other? Do I want every player to be the same? And this team in Sacramento has so many of the same type of players with the same rhythm. There's no balance to it.
Mm-hmm. It's just such a shame that Kyrie tore his ACL because we didn't really get to see this Mavs team at full strength at all this season. I mean, Smitty, had they had Kyrie, I mean, what do you think the ceiling would have been for this team?
I look at it as we saw today. They'll be able to defend. I mean, obviously, you got Klay Thompson will have more open shots because the gravity Kyrie draws. Then you have AD, doesn't have to be the number one option. Kyrie's okay with being the number one option. They have a finisher. It just takes everybody else and lightens their load and lightens their pressure. And then unfortunately for them is they didn't have Lively and Gafford until the end of the season, so they missed so much.
And Earl, if Klay Thompson's going to play like this, how do you see that matchup with the Grizzlies going? Can Dallas go in there and get that win and grab that 8 seed?
It's ironic, but I think the key to that game is Brandon Williams, who came off the bench tonight. Mm-hmm. And in 17 minutes and 38 seconds, he was a plus 24, 17 points, 5 assists. And why do I say that? He's the guy that can get to the paint, find Klay Thompson on catch and shoot opportunities. He has feel. He has touch. He sees the game before it happens offensively. He knows how to get into the paint. He can shoot from the 3. He can get into pick and roll action. He can manipulate the pick and roll. He can make the right pass or take the right shot.
And the bench is such a strength for this Mavs team, Smitty. Mm-hmm. I mean, it seems like they're 10 deep, so they never have to worry about foul trouble or anything when they get in these big games.
I mean, you have Exum, Christie, Martin, Gafford, Williams, still have Hardy and Powell. I mean, they're still a deep team without a Kyrie Irving. It's just unfortunately for them is, Caleb Martin is starting to find his rhythm. They haven't had a lot of games together to gel, but so far so good. They did gel on the defensive end tonight. If they can hang their hat on the defensive end, they can make it hard for some teams.
How much do you think this Mavs team, with all the noise they've had to deal with since that trade, how much do you think they want to go on a nice run here, Earl?
Compliments to Jay Kidd. It's really hard as a coach and a leader to keep that locker room with belief. I always say this game is as skill, as talent, and as a head coach, you kind of manage that. But the biggest thing you do as a head coach in huddles and practices is keep the belief alive. He's done a great job. They responded to him because they could have tapped out in this game. Easily been understandable.